Hi, so today I've got Max, my dog, in the room with me. He was in his bed, but he's already moved, so I'll just have to see how I get on with this. It could all go horribly wrong. Hopefully, he'll just sleep and not snore. Today, I want to talk about something that I'm guessing will resonate if you're on your own journey of self-awareness and personal growth. And it's something that can be really difficult and frustrating and even lonely at times. And it's that gap that forms when you're working really hard to understand yourself, to become more psychologically insightful, only to find that certain people in your life they're just not on the same page as you anymore. And maybe you've had moments where you're excited about learning something new, a show of confidence or an achievement or a new insight you've got, and you share it only to be met with perhaps indirect, dismissive comments or even silence. And perhaps instead of encouragement, you might be met with someone's hurt or defensiveness. And rather than talking things out directly with you, they can leave this sense of an elephant in the room or brush things under the carpet. And then you're left with like so many unsaid words and unresolved emotions that are just sitting there. So, what do you do with that? Because you're valuing honesty and authenticity. You know, you've got your self-awareness and you're showing up as emotionally mature as you relate to people and show up in the world. But some people in your life just won't, or they can't meet you where you're at. And today's episode explores that disconnect that can arise in relationships as you grow more self-aware, and looking at why it happens, how it affects us emotionally and physically, and how we can maybe try and navigate these moments with compassion and strength, whilst recognizing that we might need to grieve the realization that some people in your life are simply on a different path. So, personal growth can be so rewarding, which I hope you've recognized and seen for yourself, but it's not without its costs, because as you're investing in all this like self-awareness and starting to see and recognize, oh, thoughts are just thoughts. Like what I'm thinking might not be a fact. It might not be a reflection of the true reality of a situation. And you begin to understand how your past experiences and triggers shape your behavior. And suddenly things make more sense to you. They make more sense in a way they didn't before, because you can start seeing these patterns showing up for yourself in your own behavior and start to understand why perhaps certain things impact you more than others. You're developing that psychological insight and flexibility in the way you see the world. Now, the trouble is, not everyone around you is on that same journey. You might find yourself interpreting situations more thoughtfully and being reflective, while someone else in your life might take things at face value still, or worse, really personally and be sensitive to everything. And often the thing is, they don't share their feelings with you directly. So then you're left wondering, like, what's happened? Why are they silent with me? Why is the tension in the room? And obviously it's natural to feel frustrated by that and to feel hurt as well, because when someone significant to you doesn't acknowledge your growth or reacts negatively, it can feel really invalidating and dismissive as well. So let's talk about why this might be happening to help us better understand it. Because it's easy to wonder, isn't it? Like, why, when someone has a reaction about something you've said or done or whatever, why don't they just bring it up directly with you? But here's the thing, like, not everyone has the tools or confidence to communicate openly, especially about emotionally charged topics or things that they find sensitive. And some people shy away from difficult conversations because of the discomfort, or they feel threatened by it. And the people pleaser in all of us can probably understand that hesitation and that fear of confrontation that can crop up, no matter how far we are along the journey, you know. Others might worry that acknowledging your growth could somehow reflect on them and their own choices, or bring to light certain things about themselves that they've been avoiding, whether it's intentional or not. It can be scary for some people. And that's especially true when people are faced with insights or ideas that make them feel exposed or vulnerable. And then rather than engaging directly, they may fall back on old patterns like brushing things under the carpet or deflecting. And when that happens, that chance to resolve things openly and honestly, like you might now want to, it just disappears. And let's be honest, if you can relate to this, These situations can really hit hard in the body as much as in the mind as well, because it can be really frustrating. You probably feel a lot of tension when it happens. You might even feel really shaky. And it's all there, like this wave of injustice or anger that can sit really heavy on you, like making it hard to focus on anything else. And you've just got it in your head and in your body, what's going on. And it's because it's a form of relational betrayal, really. If you're opening up, being vulnerable, and then you're met with perhaps silence or defensiveness, then it is going to make you feel all sorts of things. And if you grew up in an environment where people rarely addressed issues openly, this can double the intensity of what you're feeling, because your body might be reacting not just to this person's behavior of how they're being now, but also your body might be reacting to the old implicit memories of similar situations from the past that are stored in your body. You know, your body's recalling and re-experiencing those same feelings, amplifying the discomfort that you're feeling in the here and now. So it can be really, really triggering. And it's helpful to notice what you're telling yourself about their response as well, in terms of, is it 100% fact that they're being dismissive, or could there be other interpretations? And that's not to invalidate your feelings, but it's just to give yourself space to consider, are there alternative perspectives here? Because when the feelings are so strong, as you know, if you're on a personal journey, it's hard sometimes to see the true reality of a situation. But when those feelings hit, it might be helpful to pause and acknowledge them. Like, it's absolutely okay to feel hurt by this. It's a genuine loss of connection in that moment and opportunity to share. And there's power really in naming the feeling too for yourself, to acknowledge it, saying, like, I'm acknowledging I'm feeling hurt. You just say that to yourself to help you unhook from the intensity of how it feels, just to create a little bit of distance so you feel less consumed in it and you're acknowledging it for what it is. So let's talk more about managing these emotions when they rise up, because when the frustration or resentment builds, grounding techniques can be really helpful. So for me, that would look like perhaps trying to focus more externally on, what can I see around me? What can I touch? What can I hear? What can I smell? What can I taste? Just to bring me out of how focused I am on what's happening. Or sometimes it's as simple as stepping away and doing some movement. So, like a quick physical release of going for a walk, or even dancing. Not that you might feel like dancing in that moment, or just some shaking, getting some of that tension and that energy out of you can be really helpful when you're feeling like that anger. And another approach to utilize is reframing. So when you're around those people who aren't on the same journey, it can feel like leaving things unsaid and not being authentic. It can feel like not being authentic's normalized. And it's like, sometimes it might feel like it's you that's in the wrong, even though you know in your head you're not, or hopefully you know in your head that it's not true. It can really feel like you're the odd one out. So reminding yourself that their reaction is about where they're at in their own journey can be really helpful. It's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your progress or your value. Your growth, your progress, and your self-worth are real and valid regardless of other people's responses. And you should celebrate how far you've come. Now, because you're on this personal journey and wanting to be authentic, you might want to address it with them. Maybe you don't want to just let it go because you're sick and tired of all the past times you've had to let things go for other people and suppress. But you also don't want to create unnecessary conflict, understandably. So there's no definitive answer here. You need to do what feels right for you. You might decide it's best not to engage in a difficult conversation if it feels unlikely that that person will end up being supportive, or if it feels that conversation's unlikely to be productive. But gentle, assertive communication can help. If you decide to bring it up when the timing feels right, you might approach them with an emphasis on how you feel rather than on what they did and didn't do. So something like, I was really proud of X and I was hoping to share that achievement and that excitement with you. And that might open up a door for discussion without making them feel blamed, although it is possible they still might not engage, so be prepared for that. And sometimes it's also about setting boundaries, isn't it? Like, it's okay to decide how much energy you want to invest or even how much you share with people who aren't able to celebrate your wins. Their reaction might be an indicator of their limitations in offering emotional support to you, or from seeing things from your lens. They may not have the ability to do that, or they just can't, like they just won't. And it doesn't necessarily make them bad or wrong. It just simply shows that they may not be the best people to go to if you're seeking, or if you just want that encouragement on certain achievements and things. And it can be really tough, because you want them to want to get involved and be encouraging, don't you? But it's also freeing because having that realization, it can help you redirect your emotional energy and choose. You're making a choice, so you're in control, and you can then choose to celebrate with those who do understand. So protecting your peace might mean choosing to keep certain achievements or insights for yourself and only sharing them with those that you know are your cheerleaders, those that will support you and validate you. And this isn't about approval seeking. This is just about our human need and want to have those cheerleaders in our life. So as I start to end this episode, personal growth is ultimately about finding peace within yourself. It's not about gaining validation from others. It's disappointing when people don't respond as you'd hope. And that's absolutely understandable if you feel that disappointment. And it's okay to feel hurt or even infuriated. But just remember, your journey is for you. So we can try and be compassionate towards others whilst recognizing that not everyone is ready to meet us where we are. And the beauty of this path, this journey, is that it's yours alone, guided by staying grounded and connected to who you truly are. And if you're open to living more authentically, the amazing thing is that you will attract others who value that too. You will get more of them in your life, and you'll find a tribe that truly gets it. One that celebrates your growth, where you can feel a genuine sense of belonging and connection. If this has all resonated with you, please know you're not alone. It's completely okay to feel all the feelings, the frustration, the hurt, the sadness, or the anger, when those around you don't see or understand your personal growth. And the benefit of it, the benefit of just like seeing things through a different lens and being authentic. And this journey is for you, and every step brings you back to your truth. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it does. And brings you back to choosing how you want to live a more authentic life. I really hope this has been helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to DM me on Instagram. My handle is at Charlotte_Bailey_therapies. And if you think this episode might help someone, please share it with them. Your growth is worth every ounce of this journey, even when others can't always see it. And with that little cheesy ending, I will say thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.